hard. Getting in shape and losing weight in your 30s is way different than when you were in your 20s. And in this video, I'm gonna go over the things that you need to consider if you wanna get in shape, but do it in a way that's sustainable, integrated with your lifestyle, and do it in a way that's healthy and something that you can actually maintain for the rest of your life, because this is a lifestyle. And so many of my clients, they struggle with not just losing the weight, but keeping it off when life obligation hits. If you have kids, if you work full time, or let's say you even work night shifts as a nurse, your life is not just around fitness. You have all these other obligations. And a big challenge is that how can I integrate fitness that fits into it and enhances it versus having to choose something so rigid. And in this video, I'm gonna go over the things that you need to consider when getting fit in your 30s, and what are the 4 simple things that you need to lock in as a non-negotiable in order to make this happen. So the first couple things to consider is simplicity. Now, what I see is that when people try to get fit in their 30s, they look at these 20-step processes that they need to get perfect. And the thing is, as a coach, I've been doing this for 10 years. When I look at these 20 things and I have these conversations with clients or potential clients that want to get in shape on what they're doing, they're trying to focus and get so perfect on these little mundane things like the supplements or the meal timings, and trying to get in 4 or 5 of these workouts, showing up to a workout class that isn't giving them the return on investment for their time and effort. As you get into your 30s, you don't have that much time as someone who's in their 20s. And so whatever time that you have to make sure that you're getting paid back in dividends, that's worth investing in your time. And so you want to find simple things that you can do that is going to be more sustainable, that's actually going to give you the payoff that you're looking for. The second thing is convenience, okay? Life gets busy, things pop up, kids have situations that you need to be on the go for. You need to find a way that nutrition and training is convenient, so that way you can be consistent for the long run. Third one is you need a system that's going to protect muscle. You have to be pro muscle, because that's what's going to allow you to stay in shape and maintain your metabolic health, and do it in a way that doesn't require you to invest so much time, sacrifice your entire life just to stay in shape. The last one is something that's going to protect your hormones overall. Okay. Once you get into your 30s, 40s, your body totally changes. And this is very important for women. And that if your hormones are not optimized and balanced, it's going to be very hard to lose weight. Not only does your body want to hold on to weight, but when you look at your energy, your sex drive, your libido, your energy overall to do daily activities, if that is all shit, then you're not going to lose weight. Those are the 4 things you really want to make sure that you are prioritizing when getting in shape. Okay. The takeaway here is that you don't need more, you need better. You need a smart strategy that's going to be simple, convenient, pro muscle, and is also going to protect and be healthy for your hormones overall. All right, so let's go through them. The first one is cutting out ultra processed foods. This is going to be the biggest game changer around your nutrition. Okay. There's a study that shows that they took 2 groups of people. One group got to eat all the ultra processed foods, and ultra processed foods are anything in wrappers, boxes, chips. Ultra processed foods, they're frozen in packages. Those are ultra processed foods, right? So they have 2 groups. One group is allowed to eat as much ultra processed food as they can. The other group were only allowed to eat whole foods. The group that ate ultra processed foods ate on average 600 to 700 calories more than the group who was able to eat whole foods. Now, keep in mind, they were allowed to eat as much as they wanted to, so they ate until they were full. When they switched the groups for a controlled study, the group that ate ultra processed food happened to eat more as well. Okay. If you cut out ultra processed foods from your diet overall, you will by default eat less, because when you eat whole foods, not only are you getting higher food quality, you're having more energy, but whole foods are naturally more satiating. And so when you're eating foods that are more satiating, you don't have to use willpower or track foods. You're going to eat less overall. And that's going to help you stay on track and be a lot more consistent, because number one, it doesn't require as much thinking. And 2, you don't have to track as meticulously. Now, tracking is a part of changing your body composition. But cutting out ultra processed food is a way more simple and convenient strategy to keep the weight off for the long run. Step number 2 is to meal prep. Meal prep has this bad kind of perception around that it requires a lot of time. But if you meal prep properly, you're going to save so much more time. It's going to be a lot more convenient. Whether they're nurses that work 312s or you work a typical 40-hour work week, you want to choose 1 to 2 days out the week where you're going to meal prep. Okay. For me personally, it's going to be like a Sunday where I have time to go to the grocery store, to bulk prep, and then maybe it's going to be on a Wednesday. So choose 2 days out the week. Let's say you work 312s. You're going to do it the day before you start your 3-day work streak, and then you're going to do it again when you're off. So now you have 2 days. And what I would recommend when it comes to meal prepping is just bulk prep, right? So let's say you're cooking, most people cook for dinner. When you cook dinner, just cook a couple more servings. So instead of just cooking for dinner, cook enough servings so you have a couple meals for the following day. So let's say I'm cooking chicken or steak. I'm gonna cook more chicken, more steak, and then I'm also gonna just cook a lot more rice. So now you have that all in bulk. You can easily weigh it out, portion it, and have your meals ready to go. The issue is that when people don't meal prep or they don't have a meal available, they get busy, they're hungry, you're more likely to eat ultra processed food. It's easy to open up the cabinet and start finding stuff and start snacking, and that's where most people mess up. And so if you can get into a consistent pattern or routine around meal prepping, you're more likely to stay consistent, and it's going to be a lot more effective with the time that you have. Step number 3 is to eat in a pro muscle diet, a muscle diet. After 30, muscle mass naturally declines. Muscle is what's going to determine your metabolic health, and the higher your metabolism is, it's going to allow you to actually maintain your physique. And also, muscle is what makes your body looks good. That's what gives it its shape. That's what gives it its tonus, which is what most people want after 30. And so eating a pro muscle diet is not just going to help you look good and help you look younger, but it's also going to make sure that you have that health to sustain the weight loss. Most weight loss diets just focus on losing the number on the scale, but what happens is that more than 50% of that can be muscle mass as well. So let's say you lost 20 pounds. If 10 pounds of that is muscle, you're only becoming a smaller, fatter version of you. And when you look at DEXA scans of body fat percentages, for a lot of people who lose that weight, because now with the popularity of Ozempic, GLP-1s, and they're just focused on losing weight, they're losing so much muscle that they're actually increasing their body fat percentage. So yes, you look lighter on the scale, or the scale says you are lighter, but you are actually a fatter version of you. Now your metabolism is slow because it's adapted. Now you have low energy, and now you're over relying on a drug to help you maintain that weight. And then when you overeat a little bit, let's say you go on a vacation or you have a slice of pizza, the weight just packs on super quick. That's a bad position to be in. So you want to be pro muscle by not just strength training, because strength training is what's going to send that signal, but you want to make sure that you are eating a high protein diet. Protein is the main macronutrient that is going to support muscle. The last step you need to do is to protect your hormones at all costs. This is very important, crucial for women once they hit 30, entering their 40s. And a lot of women that I work with tell me that ever since I hit 30, all of a sudden, the weight just comes on. I'm trying to do more cardio. I'm cutting back on my calories, but I just can't seem to lose the weight. What is happening? More often than not, they've crashed their hormones. They crash their metabolism, but they crash their hormones because they're jumping on these weight loss diets where they're eating 1,900 calories, and then they're doing a lot of cardio. And cardio isn't just getting on the Stairmaster. It's also things like Orange Theory, berries. A lot of other women that I talk to also start cutting out carbs. They start lowering their fats because they think they need to eat less and move more in order to lose weight. But fat is required for hormonal health. And so if you are not nourishing your body properly, then you're only putting yourself in a position to not just not lose weight, but now you're crashing your energy. Now you have all these other health issues. That is why the women that we work with more often come to us, because their hormones are just out of whack, because they work high stress jobs, life gets busy, you got kids and everything. So what we need to do there is to jump on a program, manage their nutrition, manage their training in a way that's going to basically protect and fix their hormones before we can actually lose weight. Those are the 4 steps that you need to do in order to not only get in shape, but stay in shape, do it in a sustainable way that is a lifestyle, that you have the energy. You also look good. You can go out and have a cocktail, have wine night, have date night, and not sacrifice your life and do it in a way that's going to put you in the position to be most successful with a busy schedule. Now, if you're looking for something that's custom, you want to work one on one with a coach who's going to overlook your entire schedule, your lifestyle, your routine, look at currently where you're at and help you fast track this so that way you don't have to make any mistakes and you really want to tackle this component in your life with your health and you want to do it in the fastest way, but also the safest way, then book a call with us. On that call, what we'll do is we'll take a deeper dive into what your number one goal is. And if we feel like it's a good fit, then we'll map out what that realistic timeline looks like for you to go from point A to point Z and hit that goal. If you're interested in potentially working with us, hit the link below, send in your application. And if we feel like we can really help you out, then we'll reach out and we'll set up a call with you.